All right. Hey guys. I figured I'd make a life stack guide since I just released the SS20 kill. Maybe I could show off some gear and maybe you'll learn a little something. So for the helmet, you really want to get this corroded point here. 7% damage for every 4,000 life consumed recently, as this is where most of your damage comes from. In an ideal world, you'd want to have both. 1% attack speed for every 5,000, it would go down to 4,500. It's just extremely expensive. Early league, if you switch it, you might just have a regular helmet, and that's completely fine. For the chest, I would get both always. Minus additional damage taken is pretty huge. 15k life consumed recently. You can get higher life numbers, max life numbers, than I do. This rolls to 500, I believe. Yeah, 500. I have 194. So could have double my life here. For the necklace, it's Heart of Animita. Max life corrosion here and combo finisher charge. I believe additional damage taken would be better for tankiness. Max life would just be for damage. And then additional combo finisher charge, 30% additional damage skill. Sorry, 30% additional combo skill damage is really huge. This necklace is insane. For the gloves, buying a dual one here is really cheap. On League Start, possibly not. You could just have no corrosion early on. It's fine. But when you're searching for it, make sure you get a high roll here. My top roll here could be significantly better, but this is where all of our damage comes from. For the belt, you want to make sure it's strength. I believe this can roll all 3 attributes. You want to have 2% additional damage per 3% fervor, as this is giving you a lot of crit strike rating. And you can have a little bit of a higher roll here, but sort of settled. No loose ends is a requirement. Early on, you could have, I think, just put +1 attack skills here and completely fine. But we're always considered at low life because of Tide of Sticks. Non-full life state is considered as low life. So this is just 50% additional damage. Insane. For the boots, your base affix here, I wouldn't recommend getting armor penetration, as we have a talent later on that kind of caps that. But LE Pen is just a more damage multiplier. Try and get that. So 20% additional max life, physical skill level, max life. A lot of my gear you're going to see is all T0'd. This is extremely overkill for SS20. You can settle for quite a bit less. I have res here and res here because I needed a lot more. Hasten is extremely important. Additionally increases attack speed and movement speed and cooldown recovery time. Timid ring, mine is really good. You can settle for less. If you have minus res here, it's going to be a huge pain to cap res for SS20, so try and get something with a decent downside. This does nothing to me. It's going to be expensive. Early on in the league, you might be able to snipe something, or attempting to craft this yourself, it might cost upwards of 10k FE. It's always better to either wait or snipe something. Additional damage, max life, elemental pen, combo points gained, and frostbite rating. This is extremely important to have one of these rolls on one of your 2 rings. And I have Ali Res here because I needed a bit more. Vorax ring. I have immune to curses because I wanted to do some deep space stuff, and in deep space they can be extremely annoying. Rebirth is the important one, and I believe Bot High Girdle would be the most damage. There might be things that compete, but we'd need to learn more in the later leagues. And then combo points gained. This ring is quite good, but you can settle for less. For the weapon, Obviously, if you can try to get 2 tenacity blessings, this will make you extremely tanky. For the sequence, settle for something. If you're going for a Vanguard mod, like Explode or more damage, it might cost you upwards of 10k FE. You don't need that for SS20. Attack skill, strength, melee damage, combo damage, enhancement, attack speed, and crit strike rating. I have max res here. This does nothing for me because I'm not capped. This on and this downside is kind of not great, but I kept it because I felt extremely bad rolling over it. Sequence, max life, active skill, max life, attack and cast speed, damage, and then I have res here because I needed some more to survive SS20. So I'm sitting at 50, 38, 47, 22. Okay, for these hero memories, obviously you need to take these 3. You can do a lot of settling early on. I crafted these myself, so you really need to try and make sure you're critting all the time. So once, and then you can kind of putz around with your crit damage and crit rating. Because of the way that we work, we're going to gain more crit rating the more life we consume. I'm in more of a tankier setup. My damage is a bit lower, but you can see all the numbers are yellow. So even though my crit rating is 67%, I'm still critting almost all the time because of other effects we have. So we'll continue there. You would just need to personally mess around with it to make sure you're still critting a lot, and if you are, change it to crit damage. So there's a lot of different roles. There's physical attack crit damage, regular crit damage, and then there's a combo one, I believe, as well. So here I have crit damage, max life, crit damage again, attack and cast speed, obviously taking Fury of Onslaught, crit rating, damage, max life, max life. Here, extremely important, hero trait level. If you go for a ultimate one here, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. And then I have block, which is almost useless to me. Physical skill crit damage and attack crit damage, and then split form. Some skills. So this is just explode. You don't need this. You can go with quick decision instead. It's more damage, and it just doesn't have the explode that this one does. Recuperation, willpower, and Spectral Slash Legion Noble. You can get some more damage here. I settled for level 1. And then you need Recklessness, as this is just consuming life. Defensive Buffer, Activation Medium Elite, Duration, and Iron Fortification, more armor. Ground Shaker, this is just a better version of Leap Slam. Quick Mobility, Recklessness, Periodic Burst, and Precision Strike. And this is what makes it a mobility skill. Bull's Rage, Medium, Duration, Cooldown Reduction while fought battle. Ice Bond, this is just more damage. Acute Focus, Fire Magus, Fearless. You need Sealed Mana Compensation here because of a Kismet that we're running. I'll show you that afterwards. And then Ice Focus. For our talents, we're basically just taking damage and trying to get as much life as possible because that also gives us damage. So strength, damage, max life, some regain. Tenacity, no other choice here really. And then great strength, minus attack speed, and a bunch of additional damage. Warrior, this is where a lot of our life is coming from, and I'll show you why. So just max life, and then all of these nodes give max life, and you're going to want to get an inverse image that has micro and medium, and then make sure when you're searching to buy one of these, you're not trying to buy one that has reflected legendary medium talents with a positive number, as it's going to just cost you an arm and a leg. In the beginning, I bought one that had a 130% roll to all micro, and a like 35 to all medium. And this just replaces the talents up here with a bunch of max life. Here is just regain, and then this one is consume, which is where all of our damage is coming from. Strength, max life, and life per strength. This is going to change depending on your pedigree. I'll show you that afterwards. But arcane or life path, you need both. So converts 100% of mana cost to life cost, and you gain additional max life. Druid, it's just same as usual. Life, regain, max life, injury buffer, huge source of our tankiness, crit strike rating, additional regain interval, and here we're taking this Ethereal Prism, extremely important. You buy one that has this last talent here, minus max res, but it doesn't replace this talent up here. It just gives you Juggernaut additionally. So it's very important. So reduces 10% of armor and 2% of elemental erosion resistance on crit for 8 seconds, stacking up to 10 times. This is why I said earlier, you do not need to get more pen. Well, armor pen, as it's less effective than elemental because you have so much more of this, right? So since it's stacking up to 10 times, we're reducing their armor by 100% on the 10th hit, or a 10th crit rather. And since we have that last talent, it doesn't replace this one. It gives it additionally, like this. Injury buffer, and you can also switch this with cultivation if you're tanky enough. When I'm running like easier maps, I'll use cultivation because I don't need to be tankier. Profit, this is where the rest of our frostbite rating is coming from. You get 15 here, and 6 here, and 20 from the ring, and 50 from extreme coldness. And this talent right here, extremely important, 100% of our fizz is converted to cold. And this is just damage. And this one is what enables us to inflict frostbite. And this is some additional damage. For your slates, so I've gotten some very good ones. You can settle for less early on, but I'll show you some of the basic ones. For this one, the easiest way to roll this is to buy a slate with these up top, and then for rolling the bottom ones, they're all warrior talents. So since we want this regain and consume on the bottom, we roll a warrior talent here, a warrior talent here, and hope it doesn't hit the regain. And then we roll the final one and hope it hits the regain. If not, you reset it, you go again, warrior, 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 and once it hits, you're good. We're copying that bottom talent with a Mothfire, same thing here, and this one is copying the slate above, which is giving me additional damage against frozen enemies, and I'm getting some res here. This is how I solved a lot of my resistance problems, because this is giving me 20 cold. I could use different suffixes elsewhere. But in an ideal world, you would have consume on this as well. It's just extremely expensive. This is copying every last talent on all adjacent slates, so it's copying this one, this one, this one, and these ones have consume and life regain interval. Consume and life regain interval. Obviously, you can improve these. I'm not 100% min-maxed. This is the same thing, consume, and since it's not being copied, I just have cold infiltration, which is just additional damage. For the slate, this one you don't really need. This is just more damage. I bought this one for relatively cheap for what it was. Mindblade is additional damage. The most important here early on is getting Life Path or Arcane. So since I have Life Path, I'm taking Arcane on my tree. For the Pacts. So I actually switched to this setup, but for more EXP. Early on, you can use the ball if you don't have Anthem. and then you would be using Gunslinger and Red Umbrella. So Red Umbrella, Gunslinger, and Anthem are the best. If you don't have Anthem, you could use that ball dude. And these are not set up properly for what I would use for SS20. I have the right way in my build guide. But what we're gaining here is reverse knockback. If you haven't played with this yet, it is a lot of fun. Strength. This one is just giving us 30% additional damage because we have a aura, focus, and origin of the spirit magus. We need a little bit of compensation on the aura because of this kismet. Strength. And this is the other three-eyed cat. And this one is just giving us a focus blessing when we're leaping around. So some more additional damage. Currently, I'm just running some might strats. I think it's quite fun. And this build is extremely good at it. So when you're mapping, you're just jumping around, killing things. And reverse knockback makes it really fun. So just sucking everything in and killing them. So, a little bit of a showcase. Since we have injury buffer and so much regain, we don't really die to the dot on the ground. If you are, you're just going to need to get a bit more fire res. This dot before is fire damage. Right now, my damage is a little bit scuffed because I was trying to get more EXP, level up. But if you want a strat to do on this build, this one, you make a lot of money. I believe at my peak, I do have the pirate pet, but at my peak I was doing about 2k per hour on Profound while doing the Vorax mechanic. So I didn't discover this build myself. I followed TTVMasterxds. If you guys like this build, I would make sure you go give him a like, because I wouldn't have done it without having his guides. I believe I swapped to Lifestack a little bit earlier than 200 bill, and then I kind of skipped the Eternity. It's extremely expensive, and this was my first league, so yeah, I wasn't ready for that kind of thing. If you want to go see what I had when I killed SS20, I have a guide, but make sure you go and give him a like as well. So thanks, and let me know if it helped.